The what? What did you say?
Ball
And
never lies.
welcome to another episode of Ripping the Rack podcast. I have no idea which episode number this is. I think it's 8
something by now.
Are we 90?
Yeah, we're
89, 90, 91.
We're almost at 2 years.
I don't know.
Has it been 2 years, really?
Almost.
Wow.
Yeah, pandemic, right?
Yeah.
We started April of 2020.
Yep. So we're
Nice.
coming up on 2 years. So I am your host, Tim. With me today is, we're going to leave off this special guest for a moment. I have the big man, Mr. Coastal Crusader. Brian, how you doing?
Good, Tim. How are you? How is everybody? Hope everybody had a
Man, I
wonderful
thought you were talking
weekend.
to me.
He's talking about size, not ego.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was talking about package. You know.
Well, no, because he's definitely not talking about me then.
So, anyway, I also have the King of the North, Mr. Calvin Locke. Calvin, how are you?
Gentlemen, folks, how are we tonight?
I'm good. I'm
watching the Leafs have a lead. It's incredible. I'm so happy.
Wow.
That's
Are they playing the School for the Blind?
Yeah, Columbus Blue Blind. Columbus Blind Jackets. That's who they're playing.
And joining us today, he is a veteran podcaster. He has a couple of different podcasts that he is going to dish on in shortly. He is the Swedish Assassin.
Wow.
Jeremy
like
Seaholm.
What's going on, guys?
How are you, buddy?
I do have to ask, are you related to the guy that used to play corner for the Giants?
Well, maybe distant.
However, my last name was in a Disney movie, so, I got that going.
So you're a Disney prince.
Sure. It was actually the Tim Allen Shaggy
Princess.
dog. In his office, he had a football jersey that had my last name on it.
Oh, well, there you go.
Nice.
So that's something that no one else will care about.
That is, by the way, I made up the Swedish Assassin today. I was trying to think of something because I call Brian, Brian goes by the Coastal Crusader because that's his other podcast. And I've been calling Calvin King of the North for a while now. And of course we got the resident masshole Marky Pens, who's, by the way, is not here. He's doing once again the adult thing, making money for his family.
He works, man.
And then there's me, Tim. So, definitely had to come up with something for you.
No, honestly, I like it. I like it.
That needs to go on your bowling shirt, right under your Swedish spelling of Seaholm.
I did that. That was actually at the request of my grandfather. My grandfather was born in Sweden. He's everything Swedish pride and all that stuff. And when I bought the two shirts, one for me, one for him, he literally passed away 2 days later.
Oh,
So I have his initials on my shirt, and then I have the Swedish spelling on the back. So, and people were looking at me like, "What the fuck does that say?"
Because you can't speak the language.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks cooler. It's got the two dots over it. That's
That's an umlaut, right? Umlaut.
It is.
That's. I had no idea. Wow.
Wow. The intelligence right there.
It's not just a pretty face, guys. Come on now.
Thank God more people watch us or listen to us on Spotify than watch us on YouTube because they don't see your face.
That's right.
Thank God we got all our Swedish people too. Like, fuck, we're killing it tonight.
That's right. We got the Swedish population. I don't know how we don't have the Finnish population because my grandfather was from Finland.
Oh.
So, I mean, we're pretty much Scandinavian neighbors.
There you go.
Oh, Toronto just gave up a goal. Shocker.
See, Calvin's going to be preoccupied for a moment.
I'm here. I got it. It's under
Timmy,
control.
what do we got for tournaments, Timmy?
So we're going to talk some upcoming tournaments. We got a couple of results to talk about, and then we're just going to dive into a conversation with the Swedish Assassin, the SA, not SA, the SA.
Definitely not the SA.
No,
Definitely not.
No. So let's talk results. Pro Series results from this weekend. I didn't win, and let's move on. So we also have, just kidding. Congratulations to Joey Lister. Joey won his very first Pro Series. So big congratulations goes out to him. He bowled well all day. And a huge congratulations to the big man from Massachusetts, Bobby Witt. Mr. Bobby Whitcomb was named the Pro Series Bowler of the Year.
He deserves it.
Oh my God, he had a phenomenal year.
You throw 1330 at CPL, you deserve to be Bowler of the Year.
Oh man.
Yes.
Unreal.
Yeah, and he bowled well. He bowled well Saturday too at Lita.
He bowled well all week at Lita when we had the nationals there this year.
So they took the top 24. How many did they have? Let's see. They ended up with 57. So they were down some. I think they had 60 plus, and then they lost some, unfortunately. Which kind of it was interesting because the scores were. I don't know how to word this. Jeremy, you were there. They went tough, but there were some big scores.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like half. So the 8 seed, I believe, was what, 617?
617. Yep.
But then you had a couple other 600s, but then they just, I don't know, they kind of dropped a little bit. Kind of a big gap.
Yep, the cut line was 589.
Tim, what'd you bowl?
I had a 132 and a 119 in my fourth and fifth.
Okay.
So you must have made the cut.
And I went spare strike spare in my fifth box to end.
Oh, so you made the cut?
No, I missed the cut. I went 588. I missed it by one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, always next time.
No, I pretty much threw my bowling balls down Route 3.
No, you didn't.
I mean, you were close to the cut. You must have made the playoffs then, right?
I did not make the playoffs.
No?
Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs?
We're talking about playoffs?
We're talking playoffs. No, I did not make the playoffs. We will discuss that in a moment. Let me go through this because I also got to give a shout out to Dave Barber.
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck he went 727.
I have no idea.
You, and you know it?
What?
He's better than you, and you know it?
He certainly was on Saturday. No doubt about that. He was big. He went 127, 157, 155, 138, and he finished 150. So he qualified number one at 727. Justin Waters, 668. Chris McDonough, 655. The Swedish Assassin, 649. And by the way, his first three strings, the dude couldn't miss. I had the pleasure of watching. Well, I watched two of them, then I went down, and then you. I don't know what happened.
Lanes 36 and 19.
Yes.
Is 19 the one that goes like this?
No.
That's
lane
1 and 18.
That's 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kustak was 630. Beaupre 627, and then Matt Nichols and Ivan Drago's uncle's cousin, Ryan Drago went 617. So those were your top 8. There was some good ball. There was some really good shots made, not by me, but by Jeremy and others. Hold on, here we go. Your elimination results in the first round, you had to bowl a 114 to move on. And I am going to give a special shout out to Jeff Surratt for bowling his 113 and missing the cut by one. Spare strike in the last box.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It was Saturday after all.
Jeff, that was Brian Athern that said that. Just so you know.
Just because Calvin was thinking it.
Jeff, it wasn't me. It wasn't me this time.
Second round, you needed. They only eliminated 7 because there was a tie for the last spot. 113 was the cut.
Shouldn't it be 2 tie all tie?
Well, it was 2 tie. They both tie. So, the third round, the cut was 112. And again, Joey bowled that 112, so he just just made the cut. We won't talk about Mr. Seaholm missing that one. What happened? You get tired?
No, I just apparently forgot how to hit a single.
Uh-oh.
The ninth and
that
10th,
happened.
the ninth and 10th box, I missed 2 singles in a row.
Oh.
So I also threw my bowling balls in my bag, paid my bar tab, and told Sean Taylor, "Let's get the fuck out of here."
Yeah. Well, see, I unfortunately I couldn't leave after my missing the cut by 1, because I was being chauffeured by Jeff and Kristen. But needless to say, after that next string, we did not wait long before we left.
Warm up the bus.
Yeah,
The
bus was definitely warm. And the 4th round, Godwin and Barber were eliminated. I want to give them a special shout out for their huge strings that they had. I can't believe they actually got eliminated with these. Barber threw a 94 and Godwin with a 96. And those aren't ones in front of them.
Hashtag ABL.
And then and the final was again Joey moving on. Joey won. There were 131 in the final, and Chris McDonough came in 2nd place. So congratulations to all.
I think Chris is going to be one that you're going to see a little bit more of in competitive stuff.
So I don't know. I guess I don't really know who he is.
So he showed up to Millis one day just to practice. And I was like, wow, I said, you're pretty good. Do you bowl in a league? He's like, yeah, I bowl out of, I think it's Union Street. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to bowl out and run the Bears. I'm like, wow, sweet. He's in the semi-pro, the ACST semi-pro right now.
Oh, wow.
Which, God, I don't know. He ain't staying there. But he was a pitcher in the Hockey League. I guess from what Stephen Walsh told me, he was a stud.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
that's cool.
Nice.
But I guess he broke his arm in the All-Star game at Fenway. And you can YouTube the video. You hear his arm break throwing a pitch.
Yeah, I'm not going to YouTube that one.
No, yeah. you don't. It's amazing that he can still bowl. He throws a fantastic ball, but he'll never pitch again.
Is it like that guy from the Tampa Bay Rays? I think he broke his arm throwing a pitch, and then like his last rehab start to come back, he did it again.
Yeah, no, it was one of those where you hear the snap. I'm like, Stevie was showing it to me the other day, and I'm like, I can't even believe that.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a good bowler, and I think he's just gonna get better.
That's cool.
Good. Always love to see new blood in the game.
Yep. That's good. That's good to see. So we have the official Pro Series playoffs coming up on April 2nd. The top 24 make the cut, and I can't believe I got to take off my glasses to read this, considering they're reading glasses.
It's because your font's on like 800, probably.
No, it's
no, that's Corey.
Whatever this font that Barbara sent this file as. This was actually pretty interesting to see. Your top 8 get a bye, and your top 8 were obviously Bobby, because he was number 1. Godwin was 2nd, Joey Lister 3rd, Jeff Surratt 4th, Craig Holbert 5th, Sean Baker 6th, Dave Barber 7th, and Richie Myrick 8th. Tim Douglas was 9th, had over 1,000 points, and still did not make the cut.
Wow,
or the bye. Still did not get the bye.
Today.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people actually excited and going out to tournaments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Boudreaux was number 24. He had 495 points. Dean Sullivan 25th at 490. So that was a 5-point difference that missed it. We won't talk about those that were way down. Chris Bovair, he missed. He sucks. Mike McGinty, Norcross, me, Mark Carrier.
Oh, Norcross didn't make it.
No. Austin Barnes didn't make it. Aaron St. Cyr just missed it. Yeah, I mean, look, congrats to those that did. And the rounding out so basically this is what it'll be. It'll be The first round matchups will be Tim Douglas will bowl Boudreaux, Johnny Winchell, Nate Lees, Lou Gatarna will bowl Ed Woodside, Beaupre will bowl Steve Reno Jr., Daly will bowl Matt Nichols. Oh, the Battle of the Tubbies. Justin.
Can I announce that one?
Huh?
Can I announce that one? We'll just
Tell
call
me.
it Triple XL.
Justin Waters has Brian Fuller Jr., Corey Packard has Freshie, and Jeremy Seaholm has Brian Crowell.
Oh, God.
Tough matchup right there, Bob.
That is
That's a fun first round matchup.
Brian Kroll, talk about a guy who doesn't seem to age.
No. Like, I remember him from what I call back in the day, which is when I pretty much started bowling in the world. So that was the, 92, 93, 94.
Yeah.
And then he went away for a long time.
Yeah.
Not to prison, folks. He didn't go away to prison that I know of, meaning he stopped bowling.
Maybe he did.
I don't think so, but I think life just got in the way.
Yeah.
But he looks the same. He still bowls at a high level.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, but look at your, you look at your top 8, and you've got Holbrook, who's like 760 years old. You got Whitcomb, who's 57 or 58.
Yeah.
Surrett's in his upper 30s. Baker's in his 40s. How old's Myrick? Myrick's got to be.
Myrick's my age. He's almost 40. Myrick and I are about the same age.
I was going to say he's got to be mid to late 30s.
Yeah, he's a few years younger than me.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's some age still bowling at some pretty high levels.
I mean, look at Det Klein. Det Klein is 68, 69.
Yeah, he's almost 70.
Well, look at when I first started bowling in Bangor in 04, 05 when I went to college. Charlie was still averaging 122. And he was 68, 70 at that point.
He was still good.
Yeah. And they're like, we have a couple, I don't know, Tim, at Oakland Park, who do you think the guy that's the oldest that averages the most is? We got some decent older bowlers. I mean, if you want to talk about elite older bowlers that are old, Phil Clough. Phil is incredible.
Phil's about 186.
I was just going to say he's just under that 189 threshold.
Right, but I mean, still, he bowls docks, he bowls candlepin, like at a competitive level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with candlepin bowling is you take care of your body a little bit, and you can bowl competitively. And I mean competitively, not just league bowling, but you could do it at an older age.
Absolutely.
I turned 50 this year. I throw the ball harder now than I did when I was 30.
Wow. Do you feel like you have to? Like, do you feel like you have to put extra behind it? Is that why you're throwing it harder? Like,
I feel like I have to just because how do I word this? So I think we all know, because we've all been around bowling long enough to know, and Jeremy has seen it, managing bowling alleys and things like that, that houses were taken care of differently 15, 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying they were juiced up. I'm not saying they put a gallon of oil down on and said, here you go, have some fun.
But the proper conditioners were reasonably priced then.
They were. And your proprietors, and I'm going to say, people talk, and someone asked me this weekend what the hell I was talking about by doing the plates. Because everybody has a different term for it. I'm simply saying that back then proprietors would do the plates several times a week versus once in September and then not again until September of 4 years from now.
Right.
So yeah, I do feel like I have to throw it a little bit harder to try to carry some pins that I may not have had to do 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But I was also 20 years ago. I was also more consistent. I was more, I didn't leave a lot of pins on the plate, things like that. So I don't know. You do one thing to counteract the other, and it takes away from what the other was doing.
Yeah.
See, I actually find myself going in the opposite direction, where I feel that I'm a lot smarter of a bowler than I was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, that comes with practice and bowling and everything else. Of course. Right?
But I mean, I don't throw the ball nearly as hard as I used to. I mean, I used to have a big, long approach, a big 4-step approach. If you watch my first Channel 50 show, I'm at the back of the approach. Like, I mean, not quite Jason Doucette back of the approach, but but yeah, no, I'm almost 3/4 of the way up. I have next to nothing for an approach, but I don't know, but like shot making and things like that, like Calvin just said, it's all.
Yeah, I mean, my approach is not as, it was longer back then because, well, let's face it, I was more flexible. And that's where I generated my speed from. That's why I think I'm inconsistent right now, is because I'm in between stages. And we saw Holbrook go through this 5 or 6 years ago, where he was way up and he kind of had a little bit of a dip, and then he went back up again.
Yeah.
Because he had to get used to his body. He had to get used to the differences between, being 40 and being 50.
Well, that's a real thing too. It happened to me. I have to deal with the difference of being 100+ pounds heavier 3 years ago than I am now, and that changes your arm slot incredibly. That I found, like, I throw the ball in the corner because my arm comes out here because it used to, and now like I bring it in and it goes right, and it's like, what the hell am I doing? But yeah, it's an adjustment period, age, weight. I mean, I feel there's a lot of young guys in this game right now that throw the ball really, really, really hard, and they are one stick away from not being able to do that anymore. They have to realize that you need a plan B in Candlepin bowling. You can't throw the ball 400 miles an hour all the time, unfortunately.
Which is true.
Yeah.
That's
for sure.
So let's talk some upcoming tournaments real quick, and then let's get into some discussions here. So we've got coming up, and they are still taking sign-ups. The last I knew, please, folks, sign up for this. This is a blast of a tournament. It's a great time. This is the Tom Darby Memorial. It is at Stars and Strikes Bowling Center in the thriving metropolis of South Paris, Maine. This is a 5-person team marathon. It is on. Yes, I'll get there. Okay. It is on April 16th. Saturday, April 16th. Starts at 9 a.m. Cost is $45 per person, $225 per team. This is a marathon, so you will bowl each team once. It is handicapped 95% of 130. Your average used is your highest known average league or state. All ties for first place will result in a 1-game roll-off. All other money positions, ties broken by total pinfall. They need a minimum of 8 teams to hold the tournament, and they are only taking 14 teams, which is the amount of lanes they have. Deadline for signups are coming up on April 12th. Call 207-743-9863 or reach out to them on Facebook. Get a team, get on a team, something. It's a fun tournament. We have something that Leda Lane started last year that is coming back. We have the Triple Crown Series. This is a scratch tournament. 5 strings on Sunday, August 7th, 11 a.m. That is $50 to enter. 10 strings on Sunday, September 11th. That is also at 11 a.m. That is $100 to enter. And then there is the 20-stringer on Saturday, October 1st. That as well is at 11 a.m. That is $150 to enter. You do not have to bowl in all 3. You can bowl in 1, 2, or all 3. Winner of the 5-string will get free entry into the 10-string. Winner of the 10-string gets free entry into the 20. There will be a prize for the highest combined pin total for all tournaments. That is at Leda Lanes. Get a hold of them, 340 Amherst Street, Nashua, New Hampshire, 603-889-4884. Get a hold of Lexi, get a hold of Matt Susie on Facebook, Candlepin chat somewhere. I'm sure more information to come. Let's see. What else do we have? We have the big one, the big Mamma Jamma, Ray's Easter Classic. Sunday, April 17th. This is a singles scratch 20-string. As it says here, I did not put it, Tournament. Not
Tournament.
Tournament.
Gotta sign up for them tournaments.
Yep, 20-string tournament.
Permanent.
$1,000 has been added to the prize fund sponsored by Coca-Cola. Entry fee is $150. There will be one shift, 102 bowler limit, 3 bowlers per lane, starting time 11 a.m.
Alvin
Sign
coming
up.
down?
Yeah.
Huh? Are you?
Are you coming down for Easter Classic?
I'll be there. When?
I just said Sunday, April 17th.
I'm there.
Seriously?
Is that Easter weekend? Like, is that actually Easter weekend?
Yes, it's on Easter.
Yes, it's on
Yes,
Easter.
yeah.
That's why they call it Easter Classic.
I'll be there.
Nice. Sign-ups and commitment must be made 1 week prior in order for proper food counts to be made. Again, you can email Alexis at alexis@lidalanes.com. You can call Lida Lanes at 603-889-4884, or you can find them on Facebook as well. That is the Big Mamma Jamma. The one I've never bowled in.
I'll pick you up on the way.
I will not be bowling this year.
Yes.
You're
No.
running out of time, Tim.
Tim, I'm
You know-
coming.
You know what? I can run out of time as much as I want. I would love to bowl in it, but my body says, my body says no.
We're not quoting R. Kelly on this.
We're not going R. Kelly on this.
Tim,
Okay.
have you ever bowled it?
No.
No, I haven't either, actually.
No.
I haven't either.
When I was younger, before kids, I was in law enforcement and I worked a lot. So trying to get that off was fairly difficult. And then I got out of that and met my wife and had an immediate family. And, well, when you've got a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a newborn, Easter becomes something for the next 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
So now that the kids are all out of the house,
You're too old.
now my body's breaking down. So
It's like
I
that
don't know.
Twilight Zone episode where he finally gets to read all the books he wants and breaks his glasses.
yep. Maybe I'll bowl in it next. I don't know. I gotta do something. Get in some type of.
I'm coming to get you, Tim. I'll pick you up.
Well, you can come to get me. My door might be locked.
No, you're gonna come bowl.
Anyway, the last one I have a handicap 3-man team. Saturday, March 19th. This is called the Luck of the Irish. It is at 1 p.m. It is a 5-string event. Entry fee is $90 per team. Your team may be made up of 3 men, 3 women, or co-ed. 2 men, 1 woman.
Is it
Ooh, well,
scratch?
yeah.
Is it handicap? Is it
The title of that was Handicap 3-man teams.
okay? I didn't listen,
So,
as I commonly don't to you.
so I'm going to say that's handicapped. It is 100% handicapped to 130, using the highest league average as of March 1st. Must be at least 17 years of age to bowl in this. My guess is if you're under that, because there's money involved, you lose your state stuff.
Okay.
You technically also forfeit any NCAA
Yes.
eligibility. Not
And
that ever happened.
And the last tournament I have information on, the New Hampshire State Tournament has been announced. That is sponsored by Bud Light. That will be co-hosted this year by Park Place Lanes and Bowlerama in Portsmouth. That'll be the weekends of April 23rd and 24th and April 30th and May 1st. Average cutoff date is April 1st. Park Place will hold the team and mixed team events. Bowlerama will hold the singles, doubles, and mixed doubles. Teams, they have changed it, will consist of 4 people this year instead of 5. Don't know why. That's what they have now. So your basically your shift times are Saturday, April 23rd, 10 a.m. singles, Bolorama, 1 p.m. doubles, Bolorama, 3 p.m. mixed doubles, Bolorama. Sunday, April 24th, 10 a.m. mixed teams, Park Place Lanes, 1 p.m. teams, Park Place Lanes, and 4 p.m. mixed teams, Park Place Lanes. And then the following week, Saturday, April 30th, 10 a.m. doubles, Bolorama, 1 p.m. mixed doubles, Bolorama, 1 p.m. teams at Park Place, 3 p.m. singles at Bolorama, 4 p.m. mixed teams at Park Place, and Sunday, May 1st, 10 a.m. mixed doubles at Bolorama, teams at Park Place, 1 p.m. doubles at Bolorama, mixed teams at Park Place, 3 p.m. singles at Bolorama, and 4 p.m. teams at Park Place. So those of you that just heard that and are totally fucking confused,
Yeah.
Check the website.
check the website, go on Facebook, go on Candlepin Chat. It is listed there. And yeah. Calvin, you got anything up there going on in Canada?
Man, so much. You have no idea. I'm so excited. I'm beyond excited right now. This weekend, Gwinnell, the Dugays at Avon Valley, they have a handicap doubles tournament. 10 a.m. starting, 5 strings, minimum of 3-round head-to-head ladder to determine the winner. They have 17 teams signed up. They're looking for 11 more. So get your teams, get your handicap 85% based off of, I think the highest team says there's no average ceiling. So the highest team, 85% based off of those. Cost is $30, $60 per team. 25% of the total take will be paid to the winning team, 50% to the top finishers. So pretty neat little thing there. March, end of the month. Yes, end of the month, there's 2 tournaments. We have the ladies have a tournament in Nova Scotia. They have a tournament in New Glasgow. You can contact Laurel to sign up. I think they're looking for 2 more teams. They have 14. I think they're looking for 16. So they'd like to get the 2 teams. So ladies, if you got a team, put a team in. That I don't know all the financial part, but if you need to contact somebody, Laurel at New Glasgow Lanes or Amanda Label on Facebook, and she's got some information, I think. And as well, the 27th is the next King of the Hill in Fredericton. So contact Corey, King of the Hill on Facebook, or the monthly King of the Hill on Facebook. Get that. He'll have a post and you can sign up there. Usually 30 to 36 bowlers. It's 2 weeks left before we get to our playoffs. So get out there and try to get your points. What else we got? We got lots of stuff. April 9th and 10th is the Valley Mixed. That's coming up, in a month's time now. So hope everybody's got their team already. I think they're still full with 14 teams. I haven't seen any other update of Jess complaining that she's lost a team and she needs to put a team together quick yet. So
it's not a week before though. That's
so,
when those messages start, or about 3 or 4 days before.
I can't wait for that. And then I believe there's a 560 in St. John. That is coming up the 9th and 10th as well, I believe. So that one there, it'll be 560. I believe they'll do it based off your high league average. If you haven't bowled in 2 years like me, well, they'll figure something out. You'll have to get a hold of them to figure something out. I don't know what they're going to use. I haven't got too much information on that one. And the next one we have April 23rd and 24th. There's a 460 open to men and women, $375 per team, $1,100 first place. If you need to contact anybody for information, contact Doug at 902-455-1519, and he can help you out. It's only a 4 bowler team. That's why it's only 460, not 560. It's only 4 bowlers per team. I think they have 11 signed up right now, and they're looking for 16. You need a minimum of 40 strings bowled in a league for your average. So average cutoff is also March 31st. And I think that's it for at least April. So, yay, tournaments in Canada.
So
excited.
before we move on real quick, I had a quick thought. Who here has read or whatever Calvin and Hobbes, the comic strip?
Yeah.
So I got thinking, Calvin, you mentioned something about that. My one of my favorite quotes, and I should have used this earlier, was Calvin saying, "You know, Hobbes, some days even my lucky rocket ship underpants don't help."
Yeah.
That was me on Saturday. Just saying. So, Jeremy,
What's up?
Swedish Assassin. Tell us bowling.
What do you do?
Fill us in. What's new?
Well,
What's going on?
Not much. I mean, it's still weird not working in a bowling alley. I will say. Whenever somebody asks about it, I still refer to it as we. Like, oh well, like we do this, we do that, and it was definitely a tough decision, but I'm able to bowl a little bit more, and it just.
Yeah, I mean, how long have you been in? Let's call it in the bowling industry. Were you in the bowling industry?
22 years.
Okay, and that started at
Right out of high school.
God, you're old.
I'll be 40. I'll be 41 this year.
Wow.
It's not that old, Tim. Stop it.
Not as old as Tim.
You got almost 10 years on him.
Easy, Gramps.
Easy. Well, back in my day,
I bet you Jeremy bowled a 20 stringer.
I've never bowled a 20 stringer.
You will though, Jeremy.
Boom.
Just to prove the old fuck wrong.
Boom, roasted. So, Jeremy, where did you started it? Was it Fairway?
Yep.
What was that was a funky place, Brian. Remember that place?
Yeah, that's the one where we bowled the Pro Series there right before it closed, and they had all the miniatures inside from Christmas, and Tim got in the little miniature bed with the little Christmas mouse. We have pictures. It was quite funny.
Or was it the one like right in the lobby?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was laying in that bed with that mouse. Oh, yeah, because he fit.
So funny that like those were all out because she was trying to sell them, and some lawyer from Staten Island bought all of it for like $19,000.
His house was awesome for Christmas.
The amount of money she lost on like what she spent over her life on all those things like is like not even it's sad to even talk about. All total, she's probably spent about $400,000 on those things.
Jesus.
Those are not cheap. Like one display, she got one like there was like an airplane, like airport like display or whatever. There was like 10 pieces to it. It was like $15,000.
Wow.
Yeah. That was her thing. Every year, this is what I do. We set it up and all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
it's a cool place. The ball returns are in Augusta now.
They are.
Are they?
Yeah.
1-7-10. Yeah. They're painted. He painted them.
Wow.
But they're in
I
Augusta.
didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they used to have the big in Augusta. They had the big circular 10-pin ball racks. It was a big circle.
Oh yeah.
It was a circle. It never ended. Circle.
I liked those. You could fit so many sets on them though. Like you didn't have to worry about them backing up.
I hated those things.
Say that just because I liked them.
You're right. So, Fairway 20. Did you bowled on? Did you bowl on Channel 5?
No, I'm not old enough for that.
Okay.
No, I missed that by about when I started chasing roll-offs. I missed that by about 3 years.
Okay.
So
you were Comcast though, right?
Yeah, I have 3 shows on Channel 50, and I have a few shows on Comcast.
Okay. What's I'm going to ask you the same thing I ask everybody, and it's not the Gimdadera one because Brian will get mad if I do that one.
Right to mute him. I was going to mute him. Like
it is not that one. I really like hearing about people's memory, like their favorite memories and things like that. I just, the older I get, the more I love to hear the stories of bowling.
Mhm.
What's some of your favorite memories? And it could be you bowling, it could be what you've seen.
Yeah, that's tough. My favorite is probably my first show on Channel 50. Because I mean, I was 19 years old. I don't know how I somehow made the show because I was bowling well. Like I mean, when I first got my job at Fairway, I was probably averaging like 107 to 110. And I bowled every day on my lunch for about a year and a half. Every single day. And then one guy, the guy was like 85 years old. He comes up to me. I remember his name. His name was Harry Sherman. He goes, do you look at the pins or do you look at the floor? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I don't pay attention to what I look at. He goes, you should use the arrows. I'm like, isn't that like a 10-pin thing? And he goes, no, I want you to do this for like 3 weeks or whatever. And for some reason, something clicked, and I've been a spot bowler ever since. And then my average started to shoot up, and then I went to a Channel 50 final. I started out through a 164, 128, something like that. The third string, I started with a 4-bagger, my only 4-bagger.
Jesus.
And I went like 460 my first 3. I'm like, oh my God. Like this might actually happen. And then I threw a 95. And I followed up with like a 123, which I needed to work for because I threw 673. The cut to make the show was 665.
Oh,
Wow.
It was nuts. And I ended up bowling Rich Clark, who, I mean, Tim, I'm sure.
I know Richie. Yeah.
I basically went into that match thinking, I'm like, well, I got nothing to lose. You know, he's got all the experience in the world. I'll just do whatever. You know, I'll just try to not to embarrass myself. And I ended up throwing 412 on my first time on TV.
Nice.
Wow.
And I threw a strike. And granted, his last 3 boxes, he went spare 5 or spare 2, 5 box, spare 3, something like that. And I threw a strike in the last box to seal it. But I don't know, it was just so surreal. Like they had big crowds then. Everyone's like cheering and yelling and all that stuff. And like that's always gonna be like my favorite. Just for me.
You know what's funny is you know what I really remember from my first time bowling on TV? There's two things that will always stick out to me. Number one was when I threw my first ball, I thought I was going to throw a gutter ball. The ball felt like it weighed about 5 ounces.
Oh my God. My heart was like beating out of my chest. Like it was crazy.
And I struggled to see the pins because it was so bright.
Yep.
It was so bright that it, like, let's face it, where where you normally stand on the approaches, there's hardly ever any light on the approaches.
Right.
And it's hot. That's what I remember from being on TV one time. It was hot. I threw 121 and got annihilated by Dave Glover. He threw 155 against me on TV. Because we only did 1-string matches, Jeremy. You qualified. The champion had the second match, and then the 2 challengers bowled 1 string. And then was it a 2-string final, Tim, or a 1-string final?
So it was basically a Comcast.
It was very much like Comcast. You had
3 guys per show. Yeah.
Hold on. Oh my God, I don't remember the Augusta show.
Yeah, you had 3 guys per show. You had your champion, your 2 challengers bowled a 1-string roll off, and then in the middle you had your fan. You pulled your fan's name. The guy that won the first match threw the ball to try to win the money for the fan, and then they bowled the finals. And I can't remember if the finals was
must have been a 2-string.
Had to be
because it was 3 strings total. So it must have been 2. Yeah, it was 2 strings. It was.
Yeah.
No, my bowling on TV back then was, I wished I had gone and chased, down south and chased some of those Channel 5s or, things like that. I didn't know about them though.
Yeah, I mean, my regret. I mean, I lived in Framingham, which is right next to Natick, where Fairway was, and I never watched a Channel 5 taping because they taped on Mondays. I was always in school, and my parents aren't going to take me out of school to watch bowling.
Yeah.
So
You haven't got very good parents then?
they're fine.
Mine did.
Obviously.
I may have missed a Thursday and Friday every November for a while to go watch the World.
Although, if you watch Paul Berger's 500, there's a little kid in the background with a striped shirt on. That's Sean Taylor.
Oh,
Really?
that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like 5, but
yeah. Well, no, it's just it's I don't know.
Godwin's in a bunch of the shows with Weber on him.
With Baker.
Yeah.
So Jeremy, what's your favorite win?
Favorite win? I would have to say the Pro Series, the 3-man random draw brought at Exeter. It was 2019. It was three months after my grandfather had passed away. Now, mind you, he went to everything. He went to all my roll-offs. I'd tell him I was bowling a 9 o'clock roll-off at Lita at like 7 o'clock, and he'd be like, all right, you're going to pick me up? I said, yeah, okay. He would go to everything. He went to all my tournaments, and, that one, it was the first tournament afterwards that I bowled in. It was the first time I wore that blue and yellow shirt, and the finish, it was Brandon Marks pulled, he was down 31 with 2 boxes to go, and he pulled it out.
Wow.
Baker, he struggled on a fill. I forget what it was. If you think went eagle, 7 box, and then it was 27 pins, I think, going into the 10th box. Whatever it was, he threw a 8-8 to win.
Wow.
And this was obviously before everything was being streamed. It was
of course.
It was one of the most incredible finishes I have ever seen. And it was, I don't know, it felt like somebody was watching.
Yeah.
One of those things. New England, I won the last New England Candlepins tournament we had. That was one of those days where I felt like the other day where I couldn't miss. If there was a single pin there, I knew it was going.
Yeah.
Those days
so
are fun.
They are fun. And I'll say, and I've said this before, one of my favorite matches of all time, and I will take this to my grave, is one that I lost. And it was the Mixed Worlds in Bangor against Calvin's team in the finals. It was a playoff because we tied.
Yeah.
And so we had a 1-string roll off, and it was one of the most intense thing. To be a part of it, even on the losing end, was just something special.
Yeah.
And to see
Morrison made back-to-back cut shots, 2-1, and then 1-1. It was unreal. The 2 shots he made back-to-back.
You had Evan, spare strike something in the last 2 boxes, and then Baker did hit at Baker, and then Godwin did his thing. Godwin came through with one of the most clutch things I've ever witnessed in Candlepin bowling. Down 17 with 2 boxes to go, misses a head pin with his first ball in the 9th, but makes a great shot for the spare, and then just throws an absolute missile strike in the 10th.
That was a piss missile.
It was.
Oh yeah, it was unreal.
It's
his dropper strike.
It was just, and I knew that. How when you're on the other side and you see something like that and you're like, we're not winning.
Yeah.
And I knew it. The minute he threw that strike.
Oh, absolutely.
I knew we
were the bug.
I knew we weren't winning.
Yeah.
And look, I love Davey. I've known him a long time, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. And, there's a reason why I was the first one over there to congratulate him, because I love to see my friends do things like that. Yes, it was against me. Yes, it hurt.
Yeah.
Yes, I have PTSD from it. Whatever.
Absolutely.
But it was so cool.
And it almost didn't get to that point because Chad Reed was open on a spare.
Yep.
And he threw 9-drop, wobbling 9-drop with the friggin' 4-pin, and he missed it. And then threw a 9-drop with the 4-pin, and then threw a 9-drop for the 4-pin with a load on it. It should have been a triple strike.
Yeah.
It was an unreal match.
It was hot. It was so hot in there.
It had to be 104 outside.
I bet it was. I bet it was 100 plus inside there.
It was outside. It was 100 plus.
Yeah. Jeremy, so you've done some coaching as well, right?
A little bit. I helped with the Fairway Kids League quite a bit. Yeah.
So, what as you were growing up bowling, and we've had this discussion, but I really want to hear it from you. Is what's some of the best advice that you've been given that you can pass on to others?
You know, it's weird. So when I went up in the kids league, now like Justin Waters he's a little bit younger than me, but he and I grew up together in the kids league, and he was always just a hair better than me, and so he was the guy I was always chasing. But like the way they coached, it was weird. Like it was more like a boot camp kind of thing. Like I would have much more benefited from somebody like Bobby Brown. You know, I don't know, like how well, I don't know, Tim, if you know him at all.
That name rings, but you're not talking about It's My Prerogative, Bobby Brown.
No.
Okay.
No.
I've heard the name, but I don't know.
He is somebody that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame for what's the contribution, like the kids travel league, like what he's done with the kids has been absolutely incredible, and I feel like he should be, you know, acknowledged for that. You know, I was never taught, like I was taught fundamentals and like things like that. The only thing that I could say is what I want to do with my daughter now. My daughter just started a kids league this year. I just want her to enjoy it. Like, if she wants to get better, I'll work on with her to get better. I just want her to have fun, because I feel like, I don't know, even with any sport, like parents push them to do what they want them to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, I want her to have fun and enjoy what she's doing. If she wants to get better, great. She actually told me she watched the Candlepins for Cancer taping the other day, because I don't know, she heard it like that I was hosting it. So she watched it and she bet with my mother-in-law on who was going to win.
Oh my God, that's funny.
She lost.
She lost. How old is your daughter?
She's 8.
Okay, so she's at that age where she's going to make up her mind soon on, does it start to become something she wants to do competitively?
Right.
Yeah. And
I feel like I'm not giving Colin a choice. He bowls the kids league. He's 3.
Well, I mean, I bowled the kids league at 3 when I was younger, but I was never pushed to bowl. I was never
likes it.
I was never pushed to bowl either. I mean, I wanted to bowl.
I was pushed to bowl, but I wanted.
My dad bowled in like a mixed league on Sunday nights. I was there. I went every Sunday night. I went down there, and you know, and then I wanted to bowl off to the side. And the guy working, Paul Ottaviani, he'd be, I was like, hey, can I bowl? He goes, yeah, help me wash the tables. I'd go and I'd wash the tables, and they'd let me bowl like 5 strings.
Yeah.
You know, it was like that sort of thing. I've always loved bowling. I loved watching bowling as a kid. Like that was my Saturday.
Yep. I'm the same way. I loved spending my time as a young child at a bowling alley and watching bowling. I was weird.
But see, I wasn't pushed to bowl until Russ Neely bought the bowling alley, and I was 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I bowled a junior league, and then we bowled the junior tournament, state tournaments, and that was all I bowled. And I would go occasionally with my mom when she bowled, the pro tour, things like that, and I'd pace. They'd need a pacer, I'd pace. But it wasn't until Russ bought the bowling alley when Russ gave me that push and was like, here you go. Yeah. Here are the keys to the kingdom. Go see what you do with it.
Right.
So Jeremy, what would you say then? You've been in the business long enough. You've done a shit ton of things that people just honestly aren't aware of.
I don't talk to anybody.
Well, I've watched you bowl enough, and I've seen you bowl, and we've had this conversation before that you're the quiet one. Like,
yeah,
you're the scary one because you are quiet, and people don't see you coming. And the next thing you know, you look up and you're down 30, and you just went, "What the fuck just happened?"
or you threw 2 marks in the front half and you're down 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say to, let's take an up and coming bowler, someone like an Austin Barnes, good young bowler.
Yep.
What would you say to him to get him to that next level?
I'd have to. I mean, I don't know him very well.
I'm saying in general, not him, but you know what I mean. That young 21,
Right
22-year-old, right on the cusp of how do they take that next level? Get to that next level.
I mean, one thing that was buried into my head was pinning. I mean, obviously, like 9s and 10s, check your pins. The spares will come. The other thing is, I mean, I don't know if he's just is how he is, you know, his demeanor and everything like that. I mean, at 10 years old, I mean, Helen Salou, the owner of Fairway, I mean, I missed a shot. I don't know why.
You told me this one.
I turned around and I gave the ball return a kick. And now mind you, she's in her 60s at this time, maybe close to 70. She grabbed me by the collar of my shirt, ripped me off the lane, threw me on the back of the thing, and said, "You are done for the day. Like we don't do that." And I was terrified to ever do it again. And to this day, like, I mean, the calm demeanor is like something that I like to pride myself on. Like those 2 9-drops I missed the other day. Yeah, I wanted to throw a bowling ball across 6 lanes. But, you know, it was always like keep within yourself, check your pins. Getting upset isn't going to help you get better. It's one thing like with Daly, and I think Daly has gotten better. But he still needs to, I think, bring it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that kid has all the potential in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with you. I'm a hypocrite when it comes to that. Freely admit to being a hypocrite when it comes to that, because I am a little bit fiery. I'm not as fiery as I used to be on the lanes. I know Calvin has seen it. You know, Brian's certainly seen it.
I've had my moments. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, I know. But I preach that, though, to the younger bowlers. Like, and I do it to Brian all the time, and he gets pissed at me. Thursday night.
Not anymore. I turned around on your Thursday night. I had a hissy fit the first string. And he goes, "You need to calm down." And he comes off the 3rd string. I go, "Hey, Tim, just calm down, Tim." And the entire both teams just start laughing their asses off.
I was calm.
Calmer than you.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I was calm. Jeremy, as before we kind of wrap up here, I know that you're a podcast aficionado.
Yeah,
you got two different podcasts. Tell us about the horror one.
So the horror one, I've had that for about 2.5 years now. It was something, one of my friends from high school, we're both horror junkies. We love it. And he came over to my house one night. Well, my wife was away for the weekend. And he's just like, "We're going to do a podcast." I'm like, "I don't even know how to do that." He's like, he goes, "We're just going to pick like a movie. We're going to review it. We're going to do a walkthrough. We're going to do this and this and that." And then we did like 3 episodes. I'm like, "This is amazing. I want to do a podcast about everything. Like, this is so fun." Because like I went to broadcasting school. So like I initially, like out of high school, I wanted to be on radio. And then I got married and realized I had to be an adult.
Couldn't be Casey Kasem.
But it was something I always wanted to do. This was a way that I could do that and talk about something I like, and I didn't have to get a degree for it. Yeah, I'm not getting paid for it, but whatever. But I'm having a blast with it. And it's called Fans of the Dead. I mean, you can find us anywhere. We're on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, anything. We're everywhere. And I've talked to some good people. We've interviewed some actors from the UK. I got Brian, you're a Friday the 13th fan, right?
Yes. Yep.
have you seen? There's a fan film that's out called Voorhees.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, I mean it's on YouTube, but the director and writer of that is actually going to be on our show next month.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that.
That is pretty neat.
That's cool. I'm not a horror aficionado.
That's funny.
Like
None
that,
of my friends are.
No. I mean, I understand the genre. Like, there are people like that I know of, like you, and I have a couple of friends that is their thing. Like, if it's in that genre, they're watching it, and they don't care if it's from, the 50s or.
What is your favorite horror movie, Jeremy?
Oh God, I
or
don't know.
one of them. I know you probably have
One
a
of,
bunch.
I mean,
or series, or
I'm a Friday guy. Like that's
not
my thing.
you're Freddy, not Jason. Or I mean,
No,
you're
I'm-
Jason,
no.
not Freddy.
Yeah, I love both, but I
Freddy
honestly
always
I have
seems like he cheats to me. He gets you in your dreams. That's not fair.
I've never been able to answer that question to say like what my favorite is. But like I mean my I don't know, like I love like very serious ones, but then again the other day I watched Wolf Cop, and that was awesome.
See, I love Evil Dead and Armies of Darkness. Like, I think the first Evil Dead movie is incredibly, it's scary at points, but it's funny as hell too in other parts.
He's awesome.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell is the man. Bubba Hotep is another one. For any Bruce Campbell fan out there, Bubba Hotep is an amazing movie.
I'll tell you that the two horror movies that honestly, it's I still remember from being a kid that scared the living crap out of me was The Birds.
Oh yeah,
Hitchcock. That one, and of course, Bates Motel. I mean, that it just
Psycho, yeah.
Psycho. It's
See,
just
for me, the movies when I was a kid that were horror movies were Scream.
Yeah.
And Pumpkinhead 2, I remember very well. That was
a good one.
Cult classic. Blood Wings was incredible.
The movie that scared the shit out of me was Poltergeist.
Yes.
Mine was It, and I still hate clowns to this day.
Clowns are fine.
Texas Chainsaw, to me, was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn.
You know what blew my mind? That kid, Ezekiel or whatever,
Yeah.
he was like 30 at the time.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That kid was born in like 1959.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So what's this other podcast you're on? I hear it's kind of a spin-off of ours.
It is
Second rate.
Fair enough. No, honestly, I mean, Danny and I had talked about this a while, and we're lazy people. We would be like, hey, we should do this, and we just never do. And one day I was just like, hey, we should do a podcast. And he's like, about what? I'm like, I don't know, whatever. Like anything. Let's just because I wanted to do another one. And then I was listening to another podcast, just an interview with somebody. I said, what would be fun? It's like, I just want to talk to bowlers about bowling. Like, that's all I want to do. Like, I enjoy it like this. I enjoy just sitting down and talking about bowling. And it would be really cool to talk to some of my favorite bowlers as a kid and new bowlers and stuff like that. Like Wednesday, we're going to be sitting down with Eddie Zernicke, which I'm so super excited about.
Yeah.
We've been able to talk to Ulster and Berger and and some of those guys. And I could just sit there for an hour, just listening to people talk about their stories,
It's like riding in a car with Craig Holbrook for 2 hours would be the most amazing 2-hour ride, because out of everyone I know, and I know a lot of Candlepin bowlers, just like you guys, we all know a lot of Candlepin bowlers. To me, Craig Holbrook is the one that could talk Candlepin bowling for hours on end, and I would just sit there just mouth shut. Give me more. Give me more. Yeah. Feed me. Give me more.
Yeah. I think it was like my third or fourth Worlds, and I ended up in Craig Holbrook's room because I was roaming around the rooms. I think it was Halifax, and I was there and I sat there and I just enjoyed the conversations that were going on, and it was so much fun. Like him and Whitcomb and Zappy and all them were all in the same room. I'm like, oh my God, like this is heaven.
Yeah.
My first Worlds was 2005 in Halifax, and I went down to the bar and just sat there. And it was like Det and Holbrook and Winchell and a bunch of the guys from Chief was there and Tony LeBlanc and the Canadians, and they were all talking old war stories. And Dad's like, hey, we're going to the room. I'm like, that's cool. I'm going to sit here for a long, long time and just listen.
But I mean, I got to give Danny a lot of credit. I mean, he's the reason I stayed at Millis for so long. I mean, after COVID hit and, things got a little, it just wasn't fun. I mean, our battles with the Board of Health and all that stuff was kind of like the beginning and the end, and like for my mindset, I guess, but Danny was somebody who I hired on a whim, where he was just like, hey, you guys need help? I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, I need some hours. I'm saving for a house. And he's turned into one of my best friends and somebody who ultimately cares so much about the game and has turned an idea into one of the better tournaments in the state of Massachusetts in Outrun the Bear, because he will shoot me if I don't mention it. But the work he does with his wife, Kate, and went from 17 people to now he's giving out a $2,000 prize every time we have the tournament.
Yeah. I got to get down there for one of them. I wanted to the last scratch one, and I couldn't get down there.
Yeah. I was so mad that COVID hit because we had a whole weekend planned. We were going to go watch the Sox and Yankees at Fenway. Then we were going to go to the Outrun the Bear. Like, it was going to be such a great weekend. And then COVID hit. And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
And now he's got his hands in, like, ACST and stuff like that. I mean, he runs our kids' league. I mean, I know he's not the manager of Millis, but he could be. He's got his own job. He's been working 7 days a week at the bowling alley on top of his full-time job.
That's
just
crazy.
because they're that desperate for help.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And that place is afloat mainly because of him.
Yeah.
So, I do have to give him, the shout out for that. Because, I mean, he saved my ass I don't know how many times.
Well, we're going to we've gone way over what we wanted, which is typical. No, that's typical for us because, we just, again, we like to talk.
Go down the rabbit hole.
We go down a rabbit hole occasionally.
Get off the rails.
Folks, Jeremy, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you guys so much. I mean, we're going to have you on, Tim, very soon. Like I said, life has just been absolutely crazy lately.
No, that's cool. Look, I told you whenever. You just let me know. I'm happy to do it. Let's face it, I love to talk bowling. So
no, you just love to talk. That's what you mean.
About you.
I do. I love to talk. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about me. We can talk.
No, it doesn't necessarily have to. It'll get there.
Yeah, it'll always get there. No matter what. Tim likes to talk.
You know what? Y'all can go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
I said, except for Jeremy, because he's a Swedish assassin. And
we asked Jeremy, hey, Jeremy, what was your favorite match? Where did it end up? Tim talking about his favorite match. That's all. No matter what.
But fine. My favorite match had not me in it. How's that?
Yeah.
It was Jeremy when he went 412 on his first TV show.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened.
That was my favorite match. My second favorite match was when Calvin Locke stepped on his dick and went tumbling down the lanes. I don't know.
Was that
I don't know. Anyway, Jeremy, thank you again, folks. You can hear Jeremy on I'm assuming you're on what, Spotify,
iTunes, Amazon, I think. We're
basically wherever you hear your
wherever Anchor sends the podcast to.
And
Google
so
Podcast.
that is what's the one about horror again?
It's called Fans of the Dead.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing. Anywhere you can listen to a podcast, we're all over the place. Check it out.
Give it a listen. I know they've got at least 10 listeners. I know that. At least 10. And then check out The Approach. They do some really cool things on there, some great interviews.
Right here, guys. Fans of the Dead on Spotify.
Yep,
right there.
Fans of the Dead on Spotify.
So a girl that we went to school with actually painted that picture.
Really?
That's really
The
cool.
logo, yeah.
I like
That's a
that.
pretty good picture.
So, welcome to our amateur hour of podcasting. Brian and I started this podcast very similar to what you and Danny did. We talked about it for months on end. Literally talked about it for months on end.
One day I was like, "Hey, the equipment's coming. We're doing it."
But the thing is, you don't need that much equipment.
Well, now
really
we don't
that.
even use it anymore.
Yeah, we don't use
I know.
any of it.
Now,
We use zero of the equipment that we paid for.
And
when
I
we
had to
realized we're
upgrade
like-
for the other podcast so much that all that equipment that I had is gone now.
I have this little thing that has 4 microphone ports into it. I just plug the microphones in, I hit record, and we just talk.
Yeah.
That's all I do.
Yeah, it's just funny to me. Anyway, folks, you can what can they do? They can get their questions, comments, concerns over to us at Ripping the Rack Podcast. Jesus, let's try that again. Get your questions, your comments, concerns over to Ripping the Rack Podcast at gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at Ripping the Rack Podcast. You can find Brian on OnlyFans at Big Booty Brian. You can look him up. He is Big Booty Brian. He's on there. He's running a special. If you join up, you will get 2 months for the price of 3. Give him a try, Big Booty Brian. Brian, where else can they hear us?
It's been a while. Hold on. Well, Tim, they can hear us on Anchor, Breaker, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, and wherever else you listen to your podcast mediums.
Was that David Allen Boucher?
That was my NPR voice. Sweaty balls.
Sweaty balls.
Sweaty balls.
Folks, appreciate it. Have a great couple of weeks. We'll see you soon. Big booty.